How's it going, everybody? Today we are looking at the 7th and final volume of Chip Zdarsky's Daredevil, the final volume in this initial run of his series. He has a second run, but we'll get into that later. Anyway, it was really good. I liked it a lot. It's a really good end to this run and a good turning point in Daredevil's history. So, yeah, let's just get into the breakdown. Matt, he's still in jail after, being stabbed from that, beating he took while he was jumped in the courtyard. He's back, and he's also an informant for the FBI because apparently they think that the jail he's in is doing some pretty shady business behind closed doors. So it's Matt's job to find out what they're doing. And in order to do that, he has to be in solitary confinement. Why does he have to be in solitary confinement? Well, the jail cell that's for solitary confinement is underneath the warden's office. And so he can hear everything the warden says and knows what's going on. So in order to get into solitary confinement, he beats up a bunch of guards and threatens the warden's life. And we have one of the most badass things he's ever done, which is just beat up the guys and then grin at the warden and say, "I want you to scream for help." It's honestly the sickest thing you've ever seen him do, honestly. He manages to go into the solitary confinement and hear what's going on. Apparently, the prison inmates are not being forced to work heavy labor. They're actually being experimented on with this sort of chemical called reset, which makes a person incredibly aggressive and violent. And apparently with the reset, it's also very contagious. So whenever they leave jail, it spreads throughout the community and making everybody incredibly violent. And because of that, more people go to jail because they're violent and stuff like that. So now we have an entire circle of people going in and out of jail because of this contagious disease that's been created in this jail. Obviously, Daredevil doesn't like that, so he goes underneath the prison where it's all being manufactured after beating up a bunch of guards. He beats up some scientists, but unfortunately one of the scientists tries to shove all the resets down the drain and stuff like that. That doesn't really end up well because it manages to clog up and then blow up, making all the reset go into the jail and all through the inmates. So that's not really good. Now, with Elektra. Elektra is having a hard time with the girl that she brought in, the girl whose mother died from the whole King in Black storyline. After she killed that zombie, hand zombie thing, she's pretty traumatized of that. Elektra tries to, just train her, but the girl isn't having it, so Elektra does what she normally does and beat people up. She's doing this because she's trying to find information on who's asking the hand for help, and it turns out it's the Kingpin. Not the Kingpin you and I know, it's the head of the Bree crime family who's actually doing this. Apparently, her son left her, and her other son died from the couple volumes ago. Remember that? Her son died. And apparently the hand said that if she kills Daredevil, they could resurrect her son. That didn't happen, so now she's just really depressed, and she wants her son back, and everything just kind of sucks. Which is the reason why Butch, the other guy who also wants to be the Kingpin, is given a leadership position, because she doesn't really want to do this anymore. It's just ruining her family. Elektra figures this out, and she's pretty pissed at that, but she understands that, losing a family member kind of sucks. Meanwhile, with the Kingpin finds out that Bullseye, the crazy guy who's really good at sharpshooting, he escaped from their experiment lab, and he's out in the open killing people, and Kingpin wants the cops to track him down. It's not really easy, but yeah, it's not looking too well. He's massacring like tons of people over the weeks, and it's pretty bad. He's killing a lot of people. Elektra manages to figure out how to track him down with the help of the girl, and goes to take down Bullseye. First, it seems to be going pretty well. She's beating up on Bullseye, only for her to get stabbed, and it turns out that there's not only one Bullseye, there are a dozen or so Bullseyes. You see, Bullseye has been cloned when he was imprisoned, and you see, the reason why he was cloned is because the Kingpin wanted to control Bullseye's mind so that, Bullseye won't go crazy and try to kill everybody. The only way the scientists could do that is just clone his brain and just start from the ground up so that he could be less insane, I guess. That didn't work out. Bullseye managed to escape with all of his clones, and now they're just off killing people. And the superhero community is kind of going crazy because they don't know how to find him or anything. So, Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's looking pretty bad for Elektra. After getting stabbed, she tries to fight them off. It's not looking real good, but she figures out a way to get the other superheroes to come to her aid by shooting in the sky and getting a bunch of heroes' attention, specifically that of Iron Man and Spider-Man. She manages to get healed up by Iron Man, and she asked Iron Man to give her some pretty new weapons so that she could fight off Bullseye once and for all. Meanwhile, with Matt, once again, the jail that he's in blew up, as I just said, and now everybody's affected with reset. So all the cops come in, and Daredevil wants specifically Cole North, the guy he's been teaming up with, the cop. At first, nobody really wants Cole to go in because it's dangerous, but Cole decides to go in because Daredevil is his friend and he wants to help out. So he does so, and he finds Matt sitting on top of this French Revolutionary giant wall of seats and stuff. It looks pretty cool, and Matt is kind of going insane with the reset because it's in his body, and now he's really violent and crazy, and he thinks that none of it is worth it after finding out what the reset does. So he fights Cole, and it's not looking too good for Cole until Matt finds out that Bullseye is on the run, and that pisses him off enough for him to wake up, beat up Cole, knock him out, and escape the prison. And with the help of his other friend and ex-girlfriend, Kirsten McDuffie, he goes off to find Bullseye as well. Meanwhile, Kingpin is basically locked in a little thing with his girlfriend, bodyguard, situationship lady, Typhoid Mary, who also wants to find Bullseye and take him out. Kingpin doesn't want her to do that, but she does so anyway, and that makes Kingpin really pissed off, and now he wants to fire her. So now everything is coming to a head. All three parties are going off to kill Bullseye. Well, not kill Bullseye, but fight them off. So Elektra finds a couple of his clones first, and she starts fighting them off. She's also joined by Typhoid Mary, who also wants to kill Bullseye because Bullseye's a threat to the Kingpin, and Typhoid Mary is kind of in love with Kingpin. For some reason, it's weird. But anyway, they fight off Bullseye, and Bullseye's just like, yeah, we're not the actual Bullseye. The actual one is in a theater. So Elektra goes off to the real Bullseye while another Bullseye tells Mary that there's another clone Bullseye off to kill Kingpin. So she goes off to save the Kingpin while Elektra goes off to fight off the real Bullseye. So, they're in this sort of Texas standoff, because Bullseye got two guys dressed up as himself and as Elektra, and the guy dressed up as Bullseye is stabbing the girl who's dressed up as Elektra as a way to show off the first time Bullseye and Elektra fought, where Bullseye killed Elektra. It's pretty crazy. I'm pretty sure you've seen the movie. Yeah, it's nuts. So, Elektra manages to go in on his pride, and it's just like, how do you know you're the real Bullseye? You're probably just a fake one. You're probably not as good as these other Bullseyes. And that makes him mad enough to tell all the other Bullseyes to shoot themselves while he tries to escape. So Elektra chases him, and he's only met with the real Daredevil's fist because Matt comes in and beats the ever-living shit out of him. Also, I nearly forgot to say that Elektra gets these new psi that are echolocation psi, so she could see what's going on. It's pretty sick. She got them from Iron Man. But yeah, that was cool. But anyway, Matt manages to beat up Bullseye, and the cops come to try to arrest him. All the other superheroes come in to defend Daredevil and say that he's a hero and he shouldn't go to jail. But, Matt instead decides to go to jail anyways. And so the next 5 weeks, he's still in jail, and he finally comes out of jail. He manages to serve his time. He did get a shortened time because 2 years, that's a bit too much for any of us. For us, the readers, and for the character of Matt. Also, timelines are weird in comics, and I'm pretty sure nobody wants to screw up with that. But anyway, Matt finally gets out of prison, and the first thing he does is contact his brother Mike, his fake real brother that, is not his real brother. It's just a magical brother. Whatever, you know what I mean. He contacts his brother Mike and he tells him what's going on. Mike obviously doesn't know that Matt is Daredevil, but Mike is still working with Butch, who wants to become the Kingpin. Butch, on the other hand, is kind of going crazy, and he wants to become the Kingpin right now. So what he does is he goes to the head of the Labrie family, invites her out into the woods, and shoots her. So now he's the new Kingpin, so there's that. Meanwhile, after Typhoid Mary manages to save Kingpin from one of the Bullseye clones who wants to kill him, they decide to get engaged and get married. So, that's nice. Daredevil realizes that he can't keep fighting Kingpin and instead wants to fight him with happiness. So he congratulates Kingpin and says, hey, listen, we've been doing this off and on again, and you know what? Let's just try something different. Let's just try happiness. And so, they get married. It's cute. It's sweet, despite the fact that they're both like mass murderers and criminals and whatnot. But yeah, Kingpin gets married, and a couple weeks later, on their honeymoon, Kingpin is like looking at like all of his stuff, his private stuff from when he was a crime lord, and sees one particular thing, the identity of Daredevil. He goes to open it, and it's nothing. Ooh, that's crazy. Remember when I said that nobody knows Daredevil's identity after the whole fiasco with the Purple Children that erased everybody's memory of knowing Matt Murdock as Daredevil? Well, the way they did this is basically by putting like a block into their mind, a mental block. So whenever they see something that has like Matt and Daredevil's name being synonymous, it's basically something else or it's entirely blank. And this puts the Kingpin in sort of a confusion. So now we're going to get into the next storyline, which is Devil's Reign, which is part of this run, but is not a Daredevil title. Instead, it's like basically a new crossover event with other heroes, but we're just going to go with the Daredevil related stuff. So next week, we're going to get into that. I can't wait to tell you about the Devil's Reign arc because it's honestly one of the best superhero crossover events ever. It's basically Civil War if Civil War was good. Don't at me. And I can't wait to tell you about it. So next time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, tell me what you like, what you dislike, and I'll see you next week.